Hey, camp followers, it's day 2. We have the amazing Carrie come back. I hope that you're really enjoying this. One of the things that Cam really aims to do is lose the white coat effect and just be human and talk about things that we're really passionate about and knowledge share. So Carrie's all the way over in Canada. I'm here in the depths of England, Essex, and we're just having a really great chat. Today, we're going to carry on talking about cruciate preoperative management. So I'm going to hand over to Carrie. There you go.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Hannah. Great to be here again for day 2. And if you missed day 1, go back and watch it because it was amazing.
It was amazing. Not that we had anything to do with that.
Okay, so I'm going to go off to my screen again, and we're going to
go for it.
There we go. And so this is where we ended up yesterday because you're going to go back and watch all of that. Okay, so the next thing we want to make sure the owners are prepared for is what's going to happen during surgery and how can they help their dog come back into the house in the most safe way possible. So you don't want to just pick your dog up at the vet and arrive at your house and go, now what do we do, right? So you want to really be prepared for this. So after surgery, your dog will come home and they'll be putting usually a little bit of weight on the surgical leg, but definitely not putting full weight on the leg. And it will depend on the surgeon. Some dogs come with a big, kind of a wrapping around the knee. Other surgeons prefer not to have a wrap. Most of them should have a cone on. And again, the surgeon will let you know, or your vet clinic will let you know, if they should be having sort of a belly wrap or a harness to help them walk. But most of them will be taking weight on that surgical leg. So before you bring your dog home, where are they going to stay? We don't want your dog doing stairs at the moment. We want them in a sort of a confined area. What is your flooring like? We don't want your dog slipping. Lots of places now are hardwood or tile. So this can be pretty slippery. So we've got to have an area where your dog can come in. There's not stairs. They're not going to slide on the floor. And it's really critical that your dog doesn't slip, especially in those few days after surgery. So ideas are carpet runners. You can get those from hardware stores, probably carpet stores. Yoga mats can work. If you've got some old carpet hanging around, if any of you are in the equine, stall mats work. Exercise mats work, the things that you would put under like a treadmill or something.
Yeah, and then those like styrofoam jigsaw pieces.
Yeah, the jigsaw pieces.
Kitty's playground type thing.
Exactly. So we do not want your dog slipping on the floor. And that needs to be done before you pick them up after surgery. So in the weeks leading up to surgery, start looking at where your dog is going to be. So other things you can think about. Dog? This is my dog. Yes. So this is
like a country home ad.
Yeah.
A lifestyle magazine going on here.
I just put this in because we're going to talk about furniture, but things like raising food and water dishes can make eating and drinking easier. So they don't have to bend their head as far. They don't have to knock themselves off balance. Sort of harder to balance on 3 legs than it is on 4 legs. So anything you can do to make the dog's life a little bit easier for those first few days is helpful. And so I like to bring those water dishes up to about their kind of elbow level. What about you, Hannah? Do you?
Yeah, totally. We say elbow to shoulder level, but you've got to find what suits your dog. There's obviously the link with raised feeding and gastric dilation volvulus, the GDVs. There was a study. It's quite interesting. There was one study that said that there was definitely a link, and then there was another study which was smaller that said that there wasn't a link. So let's play it safe. If you have got a breed that is predisposed to these giant breeds, then do think about slow feeders, so that they don't bolt their food. And water's always fine raised, but slow feeding, just be logical about it. But yeah, ease of access in these unbalanced dogs makes a lot of sense to raise it.
And also just talking about water, if your dog is going to have access to a couple different levels in your house, make sure you have water for them on each level. So they're not having to negotiate stairs just to go get a drink of water. In my house, I just keep the toilet lid up all the time. So So he has access all the time. I don't know if that's kosher, but that's what I do.
Well, I've got another little thing that people are going to go, oh, yeah. When they're drinking water, quite often they get a bit of sloppy choppy and start getting water in and around the bowl, and then it turns into a skate rink.
Yeah.
So think about having some kind of matting around these areas as well. Makes a lot.
Yeah, like a nice dog, big fluffy dog mat around your water bowl works really well. Yeah. And then talking about furniture. So first of all, you want to have them in a room where you probably don't have a lot of furniture to begin with. So it's putting them into, it might be a laundry room, it might be the kitchen. Those first few days, keep them, crate is a bit small, but you want to kind of keep them confined and keep them away from, well, we'll get into this a little bit later, but you don't want other dogs and animals kind of roughhousing with them or anything like that. So those first few days, particularly, they should sort of be a little bit isolated. So block off furniture that you don't want them to jump on. Like, not all dogs are up on the furniture like mine are, but if there is a piece of furniture there, you know they're going to probably want to jump on it, and that's not great for them those first few days. So make sure you block that off. Lots of owners will actually move their bed downstairs. They'll sleep downstairs with the dog, again, during those first few days, because they don't want the dog having to do any stairs, or they're too big to carry up the stairs, or they don't have a harness to use this with the stairs, right? So, lots of owners will come downstairs and sleep with the dog. And just a little trick, as the dog is getting a little bit better, and if they're wanting to get up on the furniture, you can take the legs off your couch. They just usually unscrew, and that lowers your couch. So it's actually a little bit easier for your dog to get on and off. Or you can take the cushions off the couch, so they're just getting onto the base of the couch and not having to climb up onto the cushion. So things like that can help as well.
Definitely. And I think that's something that I learned the hard way when I started my home service, in that I kept trying to push for perfection. She was creating a lot of anxiety and frustration. So these dogs, if for 10 years, that's where they always stayed, and that's their security spot, that's their routine, and you suddenly don't allow them access, and there's no reasoning, no suitable replacement, it can lead to quite a lot of distress. So just really tailor this advice to your dog and use logic. Really do. I have two stories, because it's so amazing, so beautiful. I had one lady who's 15-year-old Westie. She allowed him to do the stairs, even though it was really difficult. And when I said, do you not think it might be wise for you to carry your dog up and down the stairs? They're like, well, am I allowed to? And I was like, of course you are. And she went, well, will people not judge me? I was like, no one's in your house. Who can? She was like, oh, I never thought of it like that. And I was like,
awesome.
And it is sometimes what happens in your own head can be so debilitating. You need someone to just go, no, you're okay to do it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just be logical, guys.
Yeah. Be logical. Do what works. And even if you needed to take the cushions off the couch and put them on the floor, so your dog still feels like they're lying on their own couch, right? That's fine too, because it's the smell and it's the comfort and it's what they know. So we're trying to make life as easy as possible for them right now.
Definitely.
Usually we don't want dogs doing stairs for the first few weeks. Again, each surgery will be a little bit different, and it will depend on the type of surgery you have, because there are multiple different types of cruciate surgeries. Generally, though, it's about 6 weeks. I don't know Hannah, what's in your experience? What do you say for stairs?
Oh yeah, same about 6 to 8 weeks, definitely.
Yeah, so we do too. If the dog has had like an osteotomy surgery, like the TPLO, we'll usually say 8 weeks or after the X-ray, so that we know the bone is completely healed. If it's the extracapsular repair, which is usually a little bit quicker because there's no bony involvement, you could probably do it around 6 weeks. But we really don't want dogs doing stairs until that time.
Yeah.
And there are times, though, when you can't avoid doing stairs. And if you have a Westie, you can carry them up and down. But a lot of these dogs are big dogs, so you can't always carry your dogs up and down. And especially those first few days, you're going to need to get into the house, right? Very often people have a couple steps to get into the house. So you've got to be able to do that. So if you have stairs that the dogs do not have to use, just block those off, so that you don't come home from work and all of a sudden you find the dog upstairs when you're like, holy smokes, he wasn't even supposed to do stairs. So make sure you've blocked those off, and make sure everyone in your house knows that those have to be blocked off. So if you have kids that are used to running up and down the stairs and don't put the gate back up, that can be an issue. So make sure everybody in the house is on the same wavelength and everybody knows what the dog needs. Some people will need a belly support. So some dogs will need some kind of support. There are all kinds of supports out there. It can tend to be the bigger dogs that need more support because they can't be lifted. But this is my favorite type of support. So do you guys use plastic grocery bags over there?
Yes.
Yes. So all I've done, this is a plastic grocery bag. It already has the handles built in. It's nice and solid. All I've done is cut out the sides, right? So instead of a bag, we now have a sling with already made handles. This cost me $0 because I already had it in my house. And look how easy this is just to help. This lab had surgery a few days ago, probably about 5 days ago. So easy to use. The handles are great. And it's really good ergonomics for the owner, right? The owner doesn't have to bend over and try to lift. Towels can really slip. I don't like towels.
But they're also quite narrow, aren't they? They're kind of a bit cheese-worry, but that's lush. I like that.
So this is a zero-cost alternative to a brace. Now, the braces are great. The harnesses are awesome. And if you're going to use it down the road, I highly recommend the harnesses. But if you only need it for a few days, just use this sort of idea. So wanted just to share that with you. All right. We also don't want to let the dogs do a lot of walking. Those first few days, it's really going to be toileting only. So even if you're just going out to toilet, you must have the leash on. So if anyone has a dog that likes squirrels and you open the door, they are going to take off. This dog doesn't know it's just had a big cruciate surgery. A human will not take off after a squirrel. So we don't really have to worry so much when the humans have these ACL surgeries, but the dogs don't care. So they will take off. So
watching a human go off after a squirrel.
Well, but if you put maybe a thing of Guinness, then those humans might be like booting it to the pub. But, we really got to make sure that leash is on all the time.
Definitely.
So 0 off leash time. Even if it's just into the yard, you're still going to have the leash on because this is where accidents happen. Do not use your flexi leads during this time because you may think the leash is on. And if that retractable is unlocked, it's got a lot of leadway, right? So that dog can still take off. So we recommend short leashes only. And what Sassy's owners here, they didn't want to bother to buy a new leash. So all they did was tie their leash. And you can see how short the leash is here. And you just have to put a big knot in the leash you already have. So just don't use a flexi at all. Get a very short leash and the dog is beside you all the time.
Perfect.
The other recommendation, put the leash on before you open the door. So that even if you have the leash in your hand and you still are opening the door without that leash attached, that dog can take off. So clip the leash, secure the leash, then open your door because we have seen this in the past. All right. I think we're going to wait there till tomorrow. How are we?
I think that's perfect.
Today?
That time-wise, spot on again.
Oh,
I think you've done it before.
No, I haven't. No. And we didn't even time this. So if you want to know what else to do, you're going to have to come back tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Right, guys, we're going to see you tomorrow. Take care.
Bye.